This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Galgenberg 4X. But before that, this video is brought to you by Farmer Ben and Artemis. Thank you for being farm barons. So Galgenberg was a map that was recently released this year for PC players. It was a standard size map, and I really liked the looks of that map. Now we have a 4X variant of that map. The map author took the original map and basically built onto it in such a way that really, unless you knew that this was a 2X map, standard size, 2-kilometer square map, I should say, you're not going to really recognize that this is now suddenly twice as big. 4X. So this is for PC only because it is 4X. Now this map also has a ton of mods. 22 required mods, I believe it is, at last count. Now I know there's some of you out there that will just immediately pass on this map. But maybe before you close the video out, let me explain to you real fast why Giants does this. So the map author has used 20 plus mods that are available on the Giants mod hub to fill out his map. And as opposed to simply having all of those mods included in the download, you download it once. Convenient for us as players, yes. You download it once, the map author is going to get credit for those downloads. Those 20 some other map authors or mod authors are not going to get any download credit for all the downloads of this map with all of their work in it. So what Giants has done is they've implemented a system where if a mod author uses a placeable that is already on the mod hub, then it is listed as a required mod. So you download both the required mod and the map itself. Both parties get credit for the download. Giants does pay mod authors and map authors a little bit of money per download, so it does let everyone get the full credit they deserve for their hard work. So that is why there's the required mods. That's why you shouldn't just pass on a map that has required mods just out of principle because you don't like having to download a bunch of other stuff. That is why they're having you download a bunch of other stuff. Now that said, let's take a look at the description. Welcome to Kirchen, a district of the large district of an area in the southern mountainous area of Germany. I'm not going to try to pronounce all of those other things. This map is based on a scenic depiction of a real place with the original replica of the main farm and, of course, the streets. What awaits you on this map is the original replica of the largest farm on site, 6 more playable farms, 1 free place area to build, 100 plus fields, meadows, and forest areas where everyone gets their money's worth, various outlets such as a country store, small productions such as allotment gardens or apple orchards, small BGA, a horse farm. You can take water from ponds or rivers. Forests for the tree hoppers among you are plentiful, and this map is precision farming ready. Now let's talk about the required mods. So in addition to the mods, we typically use when we take a look at maps, that is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, ammo food overview, and precision farming. We also have the required mods of additional decoration package, BGA 60 kilowatt, bale storage, Bavarian building package, Bavarian farm package, bunker silo set, consumable purchase station, dairy, decorative details pack. Then we have Franconian farm buildings. We have the German grain mill. We have the Hessen farm. We have the Lower Bavarian farm pack. We have the Oberlindner. We have the outdoor climate pigsty, the package of premium pallets and bags, placeable slurry trader. We have the Reebok farm building, sales silo, slurry tank, small garden, and a small grain silo. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in Farm Manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm built out exactly how you see it here in New Farmer mode. In addition, it does have starting machinery. The only difference is you do not own any land, and of course, you have a higher bank balance in those alternate play modes. Now, this map has an absolute ton of production. At last count, there are 55 production items pre-placed on this map. 55. And 28 of them are apple trees. So that kind of pads the count just a little bit. Now, this map is rather interesting because when you start into the map for your very first time, you don't start at the farm. You don't start at a kind of a gas station. You don't start at a bus stop. You don't start in town. You start up here on a hill. And you start up here on a hill where there is an animal dealer. But you get a nice kind of overview of one of the towns here on this map. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA itself. Now, let's zoom in right here because that is basically the original map. So the original map was basically here, down, across the bottom, then up. That is the original standard size variant of the map. But you can see a lot of the various items are packed within this portion of the map. As we zoom out, though, you can see the rest of the map has filled out here to the south, a little bit to the west, and a little bit to the east of this standard map, which was released earlier, again, for PC. It still is on the Giants Mod Hub. So if you want to play this map, but you don't want 4X, well, you can go get the standard size. If you like the standard size, but you thought it was too small for you, well, here you go. This one is probably right up your alley. Now, this map is excluding sugarcane and cotton from the crops list here, but in addition to the other crops other than sugarcane and cotton that are available, we also have clover, alfalfa, and rye that have been added to the map. If we take a look at our lands area, you'll see we have quite a bit of viable farmland. And of course, the part of the land that is tied to the original map, these fields are much smaller overall than most of these fields to the south, which are part of the additional expansion. We do start out by owning, though, some farmlands. We have farmland ID 36, 86, and 34 as far as our starting farmlands. 86 is the starting farm. In addition to that, we have farmland ID 255. That is basically all of the forest area for the most part. There's a couple little buyable forests here and there. But we have all of the forest area. We have all of the town and roads. Total of 2,457 acres, or, well, a lot more than 2.79 hectares. But at any rate, we've got a lot of land there. It's only $50,000 to buy all of that. Now, in addition to the starting farm, there are a plenty of other farms available here on this map. So, for example, we have farmland ID 115. That is going to be buyable for $258,000. That is a cow farm. We have farmland ID 91. That is another cow farm, available for $179,000. Farmland ID 114 is a horse farm for $130,000. Farmland ID 113 is a buildable area. You buy it for $78,000. We have a BGA at farmland ID 90 that can be bought for $310,000. There are several apple trees available at farmland ID 112 for $45,000. There are various small gardens at farmland ID 98, 99, 100, and 101. We also have a cow farm at farmland ID 92. That is going to be available here for $138,000. There is an apple orchard available at farmland ID 164. Got to zoom out and try to find that one. That is located right here down to the south. That is available for $114,000. We have another apple orchard at farmland ID 141 for $41,000. We have a cow farm and apple juicing area at farmland ID 173 for $77,800. We have a cow and chicken farm at farmland ID 187. That is available for a mere $17,000. I'm not really sure if that is coded right, but okay. Then we have a cow farm up here at farmland ID 207 for $72,000. Now, there may have been a couple others that I have missed. And when we start getting to the flyover portion of the video, I think you're going to understand how it is quite possible to have missed additional things that are available on the map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included. Then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us? You see here in the original map area, we've got lots of kind of smaller viable farmlands. But then as we grow and expand outside of the original farm area, well, suddenly those farmlands start getting awful big. So I think this map has a lot going for it. We have a ton of built-in farms. So this map would be ideal for a multiplayer. I think it was a good multiplayer map when it was a standard size map, but again, the fields were pretty small. But now we've got a lot of extra land to go here. Really, people can stretch their legs and really get out there and start farming with some bigger machinery, because I know that is the appeal for a lot of folks. Taking a look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. Then we can go and cross-reference that with the farmland lease screen, see how much any one given field is going to cost. You see a vast majority of these fields are less than 1 hectare in size, but we do have a couple that are fairly large. I had a couple there that we just scrolled past that were 16 hectares in size. We're seeing several that are in the 4 to 5 hectare range as well. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the soil map is being applied. This map is making use of the French soil map that is a part of the Precision Farming mod. A little known fact is the French soil map is also the generic soil map. You can see we've got quite an interesting bit of soil going on here. We've got a lot of silty clay to the south. In the middle, we've got a fair bit of loam and sandy loam and silty clay. Taking a look at our crop counter, we do have a custom growth schedule that is also available here on the map. And we do have growth schedules for clover, alfalfa, and rye as the added crops. Taking a look down through our prices screen. Now remember, we have cotton and sugarcane excluded from the map, so we're not going to find that listed in our prices screen either. But we do indeed have the ability to sell all of the other base game crops that are available to us on this map. We also have sell points for eggs, wool, and milk, as well as silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we move down through our base game production items, we once again have the ability to sell all of our base game production items that are available to us in FS22. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime. And we also have the ability to sell our stones. Now, with respect to additional productions, this map has a plenty. We have tomato juice, strawberry juice, apple juice. We have apples. We have fruit waste. We have grain scraps. We have clover, clover hay, clover silage, alfalfa, alfalfa hay, and alfalfa silage. We have rye. We have then no ability to sell any of the platinum expansion production items, which is a bit of a shame because we do have quite a substantial forest area available on the map. And then we do have the premium expansion productions and base game crops also available for sale. If you are playing with pumps and hoses. Do note you will need to find some other way of getting rid of your separated manure if you do make that, because this map does not include that at the start. With respect to our starting vehicles, we do own all of these vehicles, and we start out with quite a list of starting machinery. We do have a fair number of animals available on this map. Now, when I was doing the soil map, I went ahead and bought all of the viable farmlands. So we can see here we have quite the number of viable farmlands with cow areas or other animal areas pre-placed. In fact, we have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So if you do want to put more animal pens down, you will need to put in the more animal pens mod that is available over at the Giants Mod Hub. Now we do have contracts available on this map, but again, I bought all of the fields, so we're not showing any listed here. As far as starting productions, we have a BGA at the main starting farm, and it is going to accept silage, slurry, manure, sugar beet cut, sugar beet, and potatoes, and output electric charge, methane, and digestate. One of the productions is listed as lime production, but it really isn't producing lime. It is producing what is called grain scraps. And we're going to use those grain scraps in other production. We're going to see that here in a little bit. That's going to take wheat and produce grain scraps. We then have hay drying. So hay and wood chips is going to produce, grass and wood chips is going to produce hay, or grass and straw is going to produce hay. Alfalfa hay is going to be alfalfa and wood chips, or alfalfa and straw. Clover hay is going to be clover and wood chips, or clover and straw. We have a separate production for butter and cheese at the main farm. And then we have a large feeding mixer. And that is going to take various mixtures of straw, hay, silage, mineral feed, grain scraps, clover silage, alfalfa hay, or clover hay. And ultimately, we're going to get then mixed rations out of any one of those number of possible combinations. And then we start looking at other productions that are available on the map. And these other productions are placed at the various farms that we've already taken liberty of and buying. So we have another BGA that is also going to accept fruit waste in order to produce methane, energy, and digestate. We have a fermenting silo. We have a multitude of apple trees, and these apple trees are going to accept water and manure and produce apples. We have silage production. Again, multiple of apple trees. Our juice production, we're going to take apples and water, make apple juice, and then also fruit waste. Or we have strawberry juice, grape juice, or tomato juice. We have our oil mill, and we have our grain mill. Now let me go ahead and buy the rest of the productions. So again, up to this list of the productions, these are things that are on the various farmlands that we have bought. But there are additional buyable productions that are not tied to buyable farmlands. And they include multiple small gardens that are going to take garden substrate, water, seed, solid fertilizer, straw, and manure in various combinations and produce tomatoes, lettuce, and strawberries. We also have an additional BGA. We have a grain mill that also is going to produce our grain scraps out of wheat and barley. We do have lime production that's going to take stones of water and make lime. We have a carpentry. We have a traditional bakery. We have two sawmills. One is going to make planks and wood chips to the north and south. Several small gardens, and then we have our apple juicer that's going to take apples and water and make apple juice and fruit waste once again. This map also does not have any collectibles. Let's take a look at that extensive starting fleet. We start out with the Valtra T255 Versu medium tractor, as well as the Valtra Valmet 8750. We have then the John Deere T560 harvester that is paired up with the 25X grain header. And then we also have the Nardi N40BX header trailer for that grain header. We have the Schaefer 2630 front loader. We have our 2017 pickup truck. We have then the Brandner TA 23071 Power Push Plus trailer. We have the Agramaz POV5 XL plow. We have the Amazon KG 3001 Super Power Harrow. That is then paired up with the Cintia 3000 Super Amazon Seeder. We have the Dalbo Power Roll 1230 HD roller. We have the Hardy Mega 1200 L 3-point hitch fertilizer and herbicide sprayer. The Brandner TA 12050 Power Spread Plus Manure Spreader. We have the FarmTech Polysys 1550 Slurry Tanker Applicator. We have the GMD 4411 Side Mower and GMD 3123F Front Mower. We have the Fanex 904 Tedder, as well as the Semez Z2 840H Windrower. We have the Zelon CFS 2501 DO forage wagon. You see the forage wagon has been configured to work with these additional fill types as well. We have the Anderson M160 log trailer, the RA142 TMR mixer, as well as the Aquatrans 7300S water trailer. We have our silage compaction Stego 485 Pro compactor. We have Hauer XB150 front loader arms. For the front loader, we have a pallet fork, universal bucket, manure fork, and a big bag lifter. For our wheel loader, we have the high dump bucket. We have a 2,500 kilogram weight as well as a 2,300 kilogram weight. And we have the Bachmann MHAL 432035 flatbed trailer. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements, but we do have the package of premium pallets and bags as a required mod. And this is listed specifically because, well, this mod has the ability to have garden substrate. We can buy it in little 50-liter bags, or if we want to, we can buy it in a larger quantity with 1,050-liter pallets of garden substrate. And we're going to need those again for our small gardens. Now, I'm just going to tab real quick over to our starting farm area. I would not get lost. And we're going to run out here to the street and turn around. Now let's get on with the kind of the starting farm tour, coming in from the street. And we are kind of in the middle of what used to be the original standard size map. We have one of those little garden areas over here to the side. So we have our dump point and our fill point. Our interactive icon. And then here we're going to activate a trigger, and it's going to come up on the ground. There we go. Continuing on in, we have our chicken coop. 30 chickens here. We have our food trough. You see the corner marker, it's a little hidden. I wish we would have not had grass here. Maybe a little pad of concrete or gravel. Really not hide the spawn point for the eggs. Over here we have our butter production. So we're at dump point. We have two interactive icons. We have butter there. And then we have cheese in the back. And then where our Dalvo roller is located, we have butter and cheese pallet spawn points. So if you do want to make butter and cheese and you get the message that the pallet point is locked, there you go. Don't park anything over there. We have our maintenance trigger right here. Then we've got some really nice kind of real life pictures of the real farm for which this farm is modeled after. And a nice little touch. We can compare that to what we see in real life. We have our farmhouse with our sleep trigger right up front. Inside here, we have our wardrobe trigger. And then we have our feed mixer. Remember all of those various recipes that are going to make our TMR? Well, we have that machine right here. So we have our fill point. And we can turn those triggers on and off. And then over here we have our silos. So we have our dump and fill point for our farm silo. Slurry point. Here we have a milk fill point for our cows. On the side here we have then another kind of slurry point and manure heap. Now this barn is rather complex and it was a little confusing when I did this map tour originally when it was just a standard size map, but this is going to allow us to store hay, straw, alfalfa hay, clover hay, and we can buy product in or we can pull product out. And then this is where we're going to dump that product in. We're going to come over here and we're going to click. And now this is where we're going to dump the product. And again, that's where we're going to get the product out of. We're going to circle around to inside the building because there are several kind of different cow areas within the building itself. We have a fuel tank. This is going to be where we're going to add product. Again. Did I say there were a lot of triggers in here? Well, yes, I did. Did I not? So we have our hay drying. So you can see the graphic here. It's basically telling us what we're going to be doing. That's going to raise and lower it. And then this, we're going to do some other fun jazz. It's a little confusing. I'll give you that. So you got your dump point up there. The way I understand this is you put your bales here, and then you raise it up, and then ultimately it goes into the machine up there. And then we have our output. Over here we have our grain scraps production. So we have our dump point. And we're going to get grain scraps out of there. Over here we have a storage silo for grain scraps or mineral feed. And we have our fill point for that. Then in here we have a feed mixer in order to then basically feed our cows because we have multiple kind of cow areas. So this one will hold 85. The main cow building. We have water trigger. We have our straw trigger over there. Then we have some kind of calving areas. So we have 10 cows here. Then we have our water and straw and food troughs there. There were slurry point for the main cow area over here. The other slurry point was for the small kind of calving area. We have our drive-through silage bunker. Then we have a small biogas plant also here that is going to accept our slurry. And here is the... I'm not getting the trigger to pop up. But you can see it says farm BGA, so here's the digester for the farm BGA that is outside. We have our milk trigger. And can you believe it? That is the starting farm. It is pretty extensive here. We do have an optional shed that we could buy up here. This is separate from the main farmland, but it is buyable. Let's go ahead and show you that. We went ahead and bought all of them, but go to our lands. You'll see that is farmland ID 121. That is where that little shed is located. Now let's get a little bit of altitude and get some real appreciation of this map and how the map author has really seamlessly tied in the main initial map, the 2x2 square map, and then the 4X edition. Something we also didn't talk on is we have two more kind of pull through silage bunkers there in behind the trees by the small garden. We are looking mostly at the initial map here. Got lots of smaller farms kind of tucked up in the town area. Got kind of this school area down here with a athletic field. And then if we gain even more altitude, well, everything off in the distance here to the east, that is all new. And definitely everything beyond that forested area is new. Everything over there to the west is new. And again, up and beyond that forest is all new. You see how well all of this has just been seamlessly put together. It's a really great job. Sometimes when maps like this come about when they are kind of 4X variants of an existing map, you're able to really pick up where the extension started. But here, that's really not the case. So with respect to our utility poles that are located in fields, those utility poles do indeed have collisions on those. Here we have a kind of athletic complex. There is a couple cell points located down there. We'll try to get to those during the drive around portion of the video. This drive around portion is where we're going to try to hit all of the farms and go through those triggers. I mean, there's a lot of farms here. I counted 8. One of them is right below here. So we're going to have to try to go through all of those. We're going to try to have to hit all of the cell points as well. This map has a ton going on. So while we are kind of just exploring kind of the visual overview of the map and how things are laid out, let's talk about scores. So we're giving the map a full point on production. And if there was a map ever that maybe deserved 2 points for production, well, this one might be one of them because we have 55 pre-placed production items. 28 of them are individual producing apple trees. In fact, we're coming up to some of those apple trees now. to move down here to the south. And again, we are now in the 4X expansion. We also have oil production. We have juice production. We have 7 small gardens, 3 BGAs. We have multiple grain mills. We have lime production. We have that mineral, that grain meal production. We have a fermenter. We have silage production. Oh, did I mention we're off the map boundary? You just kind of suddenly you're at the map boundary. You don't even know you're at the map boundary. It's like twice. That's the second time I've kind of went to that map boundary and gotten stuck. We have hay drying. We have butter production, cheese production. We have a feed mixer. We have carpentry shop, bakery, a sawmill, 2 sawmills actually, and then a standalone apple juicer. More apple trees down below. Got some grapes cut up here on the hillside. We're also going to be giving the map a full point because we can sell everything that we can grow on this map. We can sell all the base game productions. We can also sell all of our animal outputs. Here we have fuel point and sell points. One of our sawmills is below, the southern sawmill. Let's go up and over this forested area. Let's get to another small collection of triggers. Now these are going to be, again, some more apple trees. Now, with respect to, can the farms be customizable? I'll be honest, I did not try to sell each and every building on each and every farm. At least not with this video and not with this map. I can tell you that I did run into a couple issues at the main starting farm. Don't try to sell the building that has a silo in it, or you get into a recursive Lua error loop, then you can't break out of. Basically, you can keep selling it for $5,000 and nothing happens. In addition, I did try to sell a couple other buildings at a couple other select farms, but definitely not all of them. And I ran into a scenario where kind of pick and choose as to which buildings were and were not sellable. So we're going to give the map a half a point with respect to the ability to customize the farms. Now, you'll see the way a lot of these farms are built out in the original map. They're really not areas that you probably want to do too much customization anywhere on because they are fairly tight in their layout. But players do reserve the right to make those customization changes, and therefore you should be aware that it's not exactly going to be overly easy here on this map. So over here we have our lime buy point, or one of our lime buy points. Lime production and buying seed fertilizer. Here we have a stone heap. We have a lime heap. And you do have to own this land in order to make use of those things. Then we're coming back into the original map. So I'm going to kind of circle back around over here. See, we got quite the altitude changes as well. Really mountainous forested areas. These large fields on the outskirts of the expansion. This forested area up here is pretty cool. We've got these clearings. We also have a couple areas where we kind of have some downed trees up here. It's like we've caught them kind of in mid forest clearing. little bit of a campground area. I know I really liked this area when I was looking at it. The original map, we have kind of a ski lift or a lift of some sort going on there. And I had commented in the original video that if anything, you should download the map and just drive around because it's got some really wonderful views going on. Now this is a monument. I'm not really sure what this says. Something about March 12th, 1963. Another apple tree orchard up here. And now once again we are back kind of to the original map. We have our map BGA, but it's not tied to any one given farm. This is kind of an arable farm area up here because it is going to have a silo. We have our northern sawmill. We have our bulk buy point, sell points there. That's our starting farm. Coming into town here, we have that buyable area I mentioned. We have the horse farm. We have one of the cow farms. There's another cow farm located right there. Just down the road. We have another cow farm located over here. We have 4 small gardens located right here. And then just down from that, we have our vehicle dealer. So we have our dealer buy trigger. Let's go ahead and pick up that Mahindra. See where our vehicles spawn in at. Got a decent sized area for our implements and vehicles to exit. Although, I'll be cautious on the size of machinery that you're buying out of here. Because again, you've got your kind of narrow lanes, narrow roads to drive around on. Then over here on the side, we do have our dealer trigger. And it is indicated with these yellow and black stripes. So with that, let's go ahead and kind of jump in and start our long drive around here, trying to hit the highlights and not miss too many terrible things. Let's take a look, and why not we just go ahead and hang down here and come over here and take a look at our mine area. And this was original to the standard size version of the map. This is kind of the southwest corner of the original map. Well, we'll come into our mine. So we activate the trigger. This, we're going to unload our stones and water for our lime production. That's where we're going to get our line out of our lime production. We can come around here and buy bulk lime. Maybe we can also buy seed and fertilizer out of here. Yep. Or we can go around the back, and if we own the land, well, we can scoop stone up here and put into our lime production. Or we can go and continue down and around and pick up our line that's already been placed down there. Now, I honestly think for brevity's sake, that I might suggest checking out my other video on the standard size variant of this map for the bulk of the farms and sell points in the standard area. That video is long, and you can just jump to the area that you're most interested in. I would suggest the drive around portion of that map, which would be the back end of that map video. And we can cover, you can cover that in a lot more detail. And then this video, we're going to maybe highlight what's unique about this 4X variant, and that is going to be obviously this expansion area. So we're now in the expansion area. Now that area back there on the hillside, I had really thought that this would be like a buyable farm. It is buyable farm land. But you're gonna see that it's maybe it's an expansion later. But it just looks to be like kind of a manor area. There are no triggers in here. Right, it's kind of a cafe going on, and then we have this big manor house. Fenced in area on top of the hill. Now this farmland does extend down when you buy it to this grass area. I don't know if I'd really want to do field 102. I mean, that's been planted in carrots. Why does the AI always plant the most time-consuming crops in the biggest fields possible? Riddle me that. I tell you. Riddle me that. But really well done. I like how the elevation change is going on here. And we've got the mountain. The mountainous area, the hilly area with the forest. So, continuing on with our production. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. Yes, we kind of skipped over build mode because of all of those placeables that are required. This map is going to be riddled with additional buildings that you can put down. We could look real quick at the ground textures though. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Fairly standard kind of extended ground textures there, and standard plants and trees. But again, because we have all of those required mods, right, they're just going to be riddled all over the place with respect to other placeable objects. So I'll put a tick in the upper right corner to the original map video. I'll put a link down in the description again to the original map video. I would suggest jumping to the drive around portion of that video in order to get a good overview of all of the other farms on the original portion of the map, the sell points on the original portion of the map, because as best as I can tell, the map author has taken his original standard size variant and built and expanded upon it, and maybe a few changes have been made to that standard portion of the map since its original release, but I think that video will stand on its own and cover the majority of it. So we've got water and manure at these individual apple areas. We have a dump point for water, we have a dump point for manure, and then we're going to get a little apple pallet that's going to spawn in down here somewhere. Ah, right here. It's kind of hidden once again. It'd be nice if the area maybe had a little bit of dirt there, just to show, you know, where we're talking about. Now, not all of these trees are producible apple trees, right? Just the ones with the triggers on them. I kind of wish the map author would put little hotspot on these areas where we have kind of like apple orchards. Because if you just don't know where they are, if you just don't kind of fuck around and look real hard, it can be kind of hidden as to which areas are and which areas are not going to have like these apple productions. Hop up here on the road and make our way under the bridge, like when we have multiple elevations going on here. And this is going to be a fuel point. And then we have a production point. So this is going to be our grain mill, our standard traditional grain mill. So we have a production point and a sell point down here. So be sure you know which is which. All right, so let's go to the PDA. We're going to come down here, and the first one is going to be the sell point, and then the second one is going to be the grain mill. Okay, so we hit tag. That's going to be the sell product. Meanwhile, the next one that we are currently parked under, that is going to be the one that we are going to produce at. Pallet spawn point. Here we have the southern sawmill. Just done a really good job with these deco objects also. Really fleshing out the areas. So we have our interactive icon. We have our wood chip point back here. We have our wood cell trigger. And then we have our pallet spawn point. turned around. So make your way over here to the next batch of apple trees. Remember, we have our grapevines. They're already pre-placed up there. We just have to own the land in order to work with those. You see the triggers coming up. That's another big batch of apple trees. Another over-under type ridge. There's those apple trees again. And then here we have kind of a interesting farm. This is kind of a farm production going on. Let's just park our Mahindra. Here we have a small garden. So we have our pallet spawn point. Right, our interactive point or dump point. We have our farmhouse. Our sleep trigger. And let's work our way around kind of clockwise, counterclockwise, this wise, if you will. Not wise, guys. So this is part of our juice production. So I'm gonna bring liquid in here. Some pull through silage bunkers because this is also a cow facility. Inside we have our interactive icon for again our juice production: apple juice, strawberry juice, grape, and tomato. Over here, we're going to left click and activate the triggers to put product in. So we have a vehicle workshop trigger, but no real indication as to where that trigger is located. It's hard to say, but I think it's right here. Some apple trees out there in the cow pasture. Was looking for an indicator as to where the pallets were spawning, and I wasn't going to see that necessarily. Now this is storage. We're not getting a pop-up, but we have pallet storage here. We have our slurry point. We have our cow shed. We have our food trough. We have a water trough out here at this tanker. 250 cows. So we have our milk and our manure over here. And then over here we have a little farm shop sell point. And that is pretty much the farm. Activate trigger. So here we have our oil mill. Interactive point, dump point. Pallet point there. A lot going on down here at this little farm area. And now we're going to make our way up the eastern side. Remember that over there is literally the map boundary. Now, with respect to player and interactive areas being clearly marked, we are running across some things that are not so clear to the player. So I think we're going to give the map a half a point there. So that's going to give this map a score of 4 out of 5. And there's a whole lot going on this map. Score of 4 out of 5 is very respectable. One should not shy away from that at all. And like I said, I think this is an excellent map for multiplayer. I think it's an excellent map for someone who likes to play big. Might be a little bit of a challenge for them because while there's some larger fields, roads getting in and out are really not that spacious. So it can be a little bit of a challenge to get in and out of those sell points. Coming up to our next little town area. We have our bale storage. Agricultural supply sell point. Double back around, because here we have another cow farm. Lots of cow farms. This area must be well known for its cows. So we have another small garden here. We have a farm silo, so we have dump and fill points. Sleep and wardrobe triggers. storage. So this is a chicken coop. So there are food here. Our egg spawns. And our chicken buy point. 360 chickens. So I feel we have another production area over here. Quite the complex building. So this is the BGA fermenting silo. We really don't have any indication what those are, unless those are tied to this. No, I don't know. We have our milk trigger for our cows, though. We have our drop-off point for our cows. 80 cows in here. Slurry. Food and straw. And then we will continue to one final farm area. That is to the northeast. Again, in the expansion area. Now, something that I did not cover at the very start of the video is when you are in the map selection screen. There's actually two maps that you could pick that correspond to this map. One is the one that we are looking at, and then the other one is basically named custom food. So implying that there's maybe a custom food option of this map, and that this map, this version that we have booted up here, would maybe be more of a standard food choices. But I can tell you, when looking at the food choices in Animal Food Overview, the food options are the same across either map. We're going to pull those up here in a minute. So we have our wardrobe and sleep trigger here at this farm. Storage. Our workshop trigger. We have our farm silo here. Lots of storage options, and man, the way these are set up, it's like buildings have been built upon, added on and added on and added on. We have another cow area. 45 in here. We have our food. We have our straw. We have our manure pickup over there. We have our milk pickup over here. Really cool how we have all these different doors that we can open. We have more pallet storage, bale storage, and then we have a slurry. So let's take a look at the animal food overview. For our cows, we have TMR, we have hay, alfalfa hay, and clover hay. Silage, alfalfa silage, and clover silage. Grass, alfalfa, and clover for the grass requirement. Sheep, we have grass, alfalfa, clover, hay, alfalfa hay, and clover hay as options. Pigs, we have corn, sorghum, food waste, and pig food. Wheat, barley, and pig food. We have soybeans, canola, pig food. And our root crops are pretty standard with the premium expansion activated. And then for our horses, we have oat, sorghum, and apple, hay and alfalfa hay, carrots, parsnips, and red beets. And then for our chickens, we have grain, barley, and sorghum. And again, these were the same across both maps. So I'm not really sure what the additional or what the optional food requirements, custom food requirements variant of the map is. Maybe it's set up for not straw harvest, but maize plus. Looked through the description multiple times and I really didn't see any mention of the two map selections and as to what that other map selection was going to basically provide. So if you happen to know what the other map choice is that's tied to this map, please leave a comment down in the description. Otherwise, let me know your thoughts on this map. I really like it. If I had the time, tell me about it. If I had the time, there would be an endless number of maps I'd want to play. This would be on the list, and it would be pretty high up on the list. I liked the standard variant of this map when it came out, and highly suggested people just download it and drive around and just experience the land, the ebb, the flow, the landscaping, the looks. I'm going to do the same thing for this map. Download it. I know there are 22 other mods that are required, but the game makes it pretty easy. If you go to the in-game mod hub and download this map, it will download all the other required mods for you, as opposed to having to click on each and every one if you download it off the web. And load it up and just drive around. You may find yourself liking what you see, and next thing you know, you may be picking out which farm you want to work on, and hours upon hours later, you're still here.